My beloved child, the silence around you has been carrying whispers that are not ordinary, and tonight those whispers rise into a message meant only for your spirit, because something unseen has been moving quietly near the place you call home. The air has felt heavier lately, the walls have seemed to listen, and your heart has sensed a pressure that could not be explained, and this is not imagination but awareness awakening. Archangel Michael says this moment has arrived not to frighten you, but to prepare you for truth that has been hidden behind familiar faces. There is a presence working with intention, slow and calculated, and it does not rush because it believes time is on its side, yet divine timing has already stepped in. This presence desires displacement, not just of your body from your home, but of your peace from your soul, and it has studied your routines and your silences. What makes this moment intense is not the intention itself, but the source of assistance this presence has received, assistance that comes from someone you never suspected. You have trusted deeply, offered kindness freely, and allowed access without armor, believing love alone was enough, and that purity of heart would always protect you. That trust was seen as an open door by those who move through manipulation rather than honesty, and they mistook your gentleness for weakness. The truth is unfolding now, layer by layer, and you are being asked to remain still inside while everything around you shifts. The home you are in carries your memories, your prayers, your tears, and your dreams, and because of that, it holds spiritual weight. Those who wish you gone do not understand this weight, but they feel uncomfortable within it, as though your presence exposes something they wish to keep hidden. This discomfort fuels their desire to remove you, believing that distance will restore their control. Type Amen 111 to receive protection and clarity. The assistance they received did not come from an enemy in the open, but from a voice you once listened to with trust, a hand you once held without fear. This is why the pain cuts deeper, because betrayal always wears the mask of familiarity before it reveals its true face. Still, your spirit recognized the shift before your mind accepted it, and that is why unease has been visiting you quietly. There have been conversations you were not meant to hear, plans spoken softly when your name was mentioned with false concern. Words were shaped to sound reasonable, yet the energy behind them carried intention that was not clean. You were spoken about as an obstacle, not because you did wrong, but because your presence disrupts agendas built on insecurity. Archangel Michael says the light surrounding you has intensified, and when light grows stronger, shadows stretch longer before they dissolve. This is why events have seemed confusing, why signals felt mixed, and why people around you appeared different without explanation. What you are witnessing is exposure before release. Your home is more than walls and space, it is alignment, and those who are misaligned cannot remain comfortable near it for long. Instead of choosing growth, they chose removal, believing that pushing you away would restore their sense of power. Yet power taken through manipulation never holds, and it always collapses under truth. Type Amen 222 to receive divine shielding and peace. You are not alone in this moment, even if it has felt isolating, because spiritual guardians have been positioned where human eyes cannot see. Every attempt to unsettle you has been observed, every whisper weighed, and every intention answered with higher authority. Nothing is happening without awareness, and nothing is happening without purpose. There will be subtle signs, small confirmations, moments where words do not match actions, and these are not meant to alarm you but to guide you gently into clarity. Pay attention to how your body responds around certain people, because your spirit speaks through sensation when the mind hesitates. Calm is alignment, tension is information. The one who offered help against you believes they are unseen, believing their role is hidden well enough to avoid consequence. They rationalized their actions as necessary, convincing themselves they were preventing conflict, when in truth they were creating it. This self-deception will not hold, because truth does not negotiate with illusion. Your stability threatens those who rely on chaos to feel significant, and your endurance challenges those who escape when responsibility appears. That is why removal seemed easier than reflection for them. But removal will not occur, because you are not meant to be uprooted, you are meant to be established. Type Amen 333 to anchor your place and destiny. There will come a moment when the energy shifts suddenly, when what felt heavy begins to lift without warning. This will not happen through confrontation, but through exposure and withdrawal, as plans lose momentum and support dissolves quietly. You will notice less resistance, fewer obstacles, and a return of calm where tension once lingered. Do not feel the need to explain yourself or defend your position, because silence will speak louder than justification. Your consistency will dismantle false narratives more effectively than argument ever could. Those who watched you expecting reaction will be unsettled by your composure. Archangel Michael says your restraint has been noted, your patience honored, and your faith strengthened through this trial. You were never meant to fight this battle loudly, because your victory lies in remaining centered. Protection does not always appear as force, sometimes it appears as stillness. This experience is refining your discernment, sharpening your awareness without hardening your heart. You will emerge more perceptive, more grounded, and less willing to ignore subtle warnings in the future. This is growth earned, not given. Type Amen 444 to receive wisdom and discernment. What was intended to displace you will instead expose others, not through accusation but through natural consequence. Truth has a way of revealing itself without effort, as patterns become impossible to ignore. You will see behaviors repeat, stories change, and alliances fracture under their own weight. Your role is not to watch closely, but to remain present within yourself, because observation without attachment preserves peace. Let what unfolds do so without interference, because divine order is already correcting what was disturbed. Intervention is unnecessary when alignment has been restored. There will be moments of grief as trust dissolves, and this grief is valid, because loss of illusion still feels like loss. Allow it to pass through you without judgment, because it will not linger. What remains afterward will be clarity and quiet strength. One time only, hear this clearly and without pressure. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. This is shared once and only once, without expectation, as energy must always remain free. Type Amen 555 to release betrayal and receive healing. Your home will feel different soon, lighter, calmer, as though a weight has been lifted from the atmosphere. Sleep will come easier, thoughts will settle faster, and your breath will deepen naturally. These are signs of restoration, not coincidence. Those who wished you gone will turn their attention elsewhere, distracted by new concerns that demand their focus. This redirection is not punishment, it is mercy, allowing lessons to be learned without destruction. Distance will grow naturally, without effort from you. Archangel Michael says stand firm without stiffness, remain open without naivety, and trust without surrendering discernment. Balance is your new foundation, and from it, nothing can easily shake you. You are not guarded by fear, you are guided by awareness. What was hidden has been revealed, what was threatened has been secured, and what was uncertain has been clarified. This chapter closes not with noise, but with quiet assurance that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Type Amen 777 to seal protection, peace, and permanence. Remain gentle, remain grounded, remain present, because your presence itself is the answer. This message arrives not as a warning, but as confirmation that you are watched over, protected, and established. Nothing meant for you can be taken, and nothing meant to remove you will succeed. My beloved child, as this message continues, the atmosphere around you is already responding, because truth once spoken does not return empty, it begins to move, to rearrange, to expose without noise. What was once operating quietly now feels unsettled, because awareness has entered the space where secrecy lived. Archangel Michael says the unseen hand that tried to shift your place is weakening, not through force, but through loss of influence. The plan against you required alignment, cooperation, and shared intention, and now that alignment is cracking. One by one, motivations are being questioned internally, even if no one admits it aloud, because conscience cannot remain silent forever. Those involved are beginning to feel the weight of their choices, not as guilt alone, but as restlessness and inner conflict. You may notice changes in tone, in behavior, in the way certain people approach or avoid you. These changes are not random, they are symptoms of exposure, because when intention is no longer hidden, it struggles to maintain form. What once felt coordinated now feels disorganized, uncertain, and strained. Your calm presence acts as a mirror, reflecting back what others try to avoid within themselves. This is why silence has power in your situation, because it leaves no distraction from truth. The more you remain grounded, the more unstable false intentions become. Type Amen 888 to strengthen your spiritual ground. The person you never expected to be involved is now facing an internal reckoning, whether they acknowledge it or not. They justified their actions by convincing themselves it was temporary, harmless, or necessary, but justification dissolves when results fail. What they thought would bring relief has brought tension instead. They are realizing that removing you was never the solution, because the discomfort they feel does not originate from you. This realization arrives slowly, but it arrives with certainty, creating distance between them and those who influenced them. Separation of alliance is already in motion. Archangel Michael says do not seek apology, explanation, or closure through conversation, because closure is happening energetically. Words are no longer required where understanding has already formed. Peace will come not through dialogue, but through detachment. Your home remains protected, not only physically but energetically, and attempts to disturb its balance are being redirected elsewhere. The space around you is being sealed with calm, and anything misaligned finds it difficult to linger. This is why tension will feel like it dissipates without confrontation. Type Amen 999 to seal your home in peace. There will be moments when memories surface, replaying interactions with new clarity, and you will see signs you once dismissed. This is not meant to create regret, but wisdom, because growth reframes the past without trapping you in it. Awareness does not punish, it prepares. You are learning to trust your inner signals without doubting yourself, and this trust will guide future decisions with confidence. No one will need to warn you again, because discernment will speak clearly and early. This is a gift formed through experience. Those who attempted to move you underestimated the depth of your roots, not realizing that stability built through integrity cannot be uprooted by strategy. Your foundation is not dependent on approval, cooperation, or validation from others. It is self-sustaining. Archangel Michael says your endurance has shifted the outcome, because perseverance aligned with truth always changes direction of events. What seemed uncertain is now secured, and what felt threatened is now established. This is divine correction in motion. Type Amen 1010 to receive restoration and confidence. As time unfolds, you will notice opportunities returning, clarity sharpening, and emotional weight lifting. These are confirmations that the storm has passed its peak. What remains is cleanup, not chaos. Remain observant but not guarded, open but not exposed, kind but not careless. Balance is now your strength, and from it, peace flows naturally. You have not lost anything of value, only illusions that no longer served you. This continuation comes to remind you that the chapter is turning, not repeating. The attempt has failed, the intention has been neutralized, and your place remains intact. You are safe, supported, and firmly planted where you belong. My beloved child, as this message flows forward, something subtle yet powerful is already changing beneath the surface of your life, because when intention is purified, reality must eventually respond. What once felt like pressure around you is now loosening, not suddenly, but steadily, like a knot untangling thread by thread. Archangel Michael says this stage is about quiet victory, the kind that does not announce itself loudly but leaves lasting peace behind. You may feel moments of unexpected calm arriving without reason, brief pauses where your mind feels lighter and your chest feels open. These moments are signs that resistance is dissolving, and the energy that tried to disturb you no longer has a firm place to attach. Even if circumstances appear unchanged on the outside, the inner balance has already shifted in your favor. Those who once felt confident in their plan are now uncertain, sensing that something is no longer working as intended. They may feel delayed, distracted, or internally conflicted, as if their steps no longer land firmly. This is not because you acted, but because alignment has withdrawn its support from what was never meant to succeed. Your strength in this phase comes from remaining ordinary, steady, and grounded, continuing your life without dramatic reaction. This steadiness confuses those who expected emotional response or visible distress. Peace becomes your shield without you having to raise it. Type Amen 1212 to deepen inner calm and stability. The person who stood quietly in agreement against you is now feeling exposed within themselves, even if no one confronts them directly. Silence has become uncomfortable for them, because it leaves space for reflection they tried to avoid. They may seek distraction, busyness, or justification, but none of it brings the relief they expected. What they are learning, though painfully, is that alignment cannot be borrowed against truth. When actions move against integrity, support fades naturally, leaving only the weight of choice behind. This lesson will reshape their future decisions, even if they never speak your name again. Archangel Michael says do not internalize their struggle or make it your responsibility, because this process belongs to them alone. Compassion does not require involvement, and understanding does not require proximity. Your role is to remain whole. Your environment will continue to respond positively to your steadiness, with fewer disruptions and more moments of ease. Conversations will feel lighter, routines smoother, and obstacles less frequent. This is not coincidence, it is energetic correction settling into place. Type Amen 1313 to allow harmony to return. There is also a deeper lesson unfolding within you, one that strengthens boundaries without hardening your heart. You are learning that access to your life is not an entitlement, but an invitation, and not everyone deserves it equally. This awareness does not make you distant, it makes you discerning. You will begin to notice how easily you recognize shifts in tone, intention, and presence now. What once required explanation now feels obvious without effort. This clarity will save you time, energy, and emotional weight in the future. The attempt to remove you has instead reinforced your sense of belonging, anchoring you more deeply into your space and purpose. What was meant to unsettle you has stabilized you further. This reversal is not accidental, it is restoration. Archangel Michael says your home is becoming a place of recovery, not conflict, and those who enter it will feel the difference immediately. Peace will no longer need defending, it will simply exist. This is the reward of endurance without bitterness. Type Amen 1414 to anchor peace in your space. As days move forward, you may hear fragments of information indirectly, hints of regret, confusion, or shifting alliances. Let these pass without attachment, because they are echoes of a chapter already closing. You do not need to follow the noise to know the story has changed. What matters now is how you inhabit this new quiet, how you breathe into it, and how you allow yourself to rest after vigilance. Rest is not weakness, it is integration. Your system is recalibrating after stress, and gentleness with yourself is essential. This part of the journey is not dramatic, but it is deeply transformative. It teaches you that safety does not always arrive through confrontation, but through alignment returning naturally. You are learning to trust this process without needing proof at every step. Type Amen 1515 to fully receive restoration. The unseen shift has already occurred, and what remains is the visible confirmation that will unfold in its own time. You are no longer in the phase of threat, but in the phase of consolidation. Your place is secure, your peace is growing, and your awareness is refined. Remain as you are, steady and present, because nothing more is required of you now. What tried to move you has lost its grip, and what tried to unsettle you has revealed its weakness. This is quiet victory, and it belongs to you. My beloved child, this part arrives gently, because the season you are entering is not one of alarm but of grounding, where what has been protected now begins to feel truly lived in. The tension that once hovered like a shadow no longer finds space to remain, and your breath begins to deepen without effort. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where peace stops visiting and starts staying. Your days may appear ordinary, yet beneath the surface something extraordinary is stabilizing, because safety is becoming familiar again. The mind no longer scans for danger as often, and the body slowly releases stored strain. This is not forgetting what happened, but integrating it without letting it define you. Those who once watched you closely are no longer focused, not because they resolved everything, but because attention has shifted away from you. Their energy no longer reaches your space, and without attention, intention loses momentum. Distance has become natural, not forced. Your home responds to this change, holding calm more easily, reflecting back the steadiness you now carry within. Sounds feel softer, movements feel smoother, and silence feels comforting rather than heavy. This is alignment settling in. Type Amen 1616 to welcome lasting peace. You may notice that your reactions have changed, not out of numbness, but clarity, because what once triggered emotion now registers as information only. This shift signals growth that cannot be undone, awareness that cannot be unlearned. You have crossed a threshold quietly. The person who played a hidden role in attempting to unsettle you now feels further away emotionally, even if physical distance has not changed. Their influence has diminished, not through conflict, but irrelevance. What no longer resonates naturally falls away. Archangel Michael says you are not meant to revisit what has already dissolved, because revisiting reopens doors that no longer exist. Forward movement now happens without resistance, and this ease is intentional. Life is responding to your steadiness. You will begin to attract interactions that feel cleaner, conversations that feel respectful, and connections that feel balanced. This is not coincidence, it is reflection. Your energy now sets a clear standard without effort. Type Amen 1717 to align with healthy connections. There is also a strengthening of inner authority taking place, where you trust your decisions without needing reassurance. This confidence is quiet, not loud, and it does not seek validation. It simply knows. Moments of gratitude may arise unexpectedly, not because everything is perfect, but because safety has returned. Gratitude in this phase is grounding, anchoring you in the present rather than pulling you backward. This presence is healing. Archangel Michael says what you hold now is not fragile, it is established, because it was tested before it settled. Nothing that comes next will easily disturb this foundation. Stability earned through awareness lasts. You no longer need to explain your boundaries, because they are felt rather than spoken. Those who respect them remain, and those who do not drift away naturally. This simplicity preserves your peace. Type Amen 1818 to strengthen inner authority. As this chapter continues to close, you may sense a readiness for new beginnings forming quietly. These beginnings will not arrive with urgency, but with invitation, allowing you to choose without pressure. Choice rooted in calm leads to fulfillment. The past no longer pulls at you with emotional weight, because understanding has replaced confusion. What happened now feels complete rather than unresolved. Completion brings freedom. This part of the message is a confirmation that the ground beneath you is steady, the space around you is protected, and the path ahead is clear enough to walk without fear. You are no longer bracing, you are living. Type Amen 1919 to seal stability and forward movement. Remain present in this calm, because it is not temporary, it is foundational. What once tried to remove you has faded into irrelevance, and what once threatened your peace has strengthened it instead. This is the quiet reward of endurance, and it belongs to you fully.